Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Thursday, the 16th of October. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I couldn't get it out of my mind the last day or two, and that is when you're setting up your business. This is, you're in the preliminary stages. You should already have a business plan. You should already have, you know, checked into the rules, regulations, what you need for sales tax is one, but you need a business name. There's so many things that go into even before you open that door to the public. And that's where a lot of people fail is they fail to plan and they just open the door and hope for the best. Does it work once in a while? Absolutely. I mean, people win the lottery all the time. But what are the odds? All right, well, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. Yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday, where we talk business and possibly repairs, which we're going to be cranking up here pretty quick. I told Claude he needs to get his crap together, his shop cleaned up, because we're going to be doing videos. Ha ha ha, right? So, why am I on this topic? It's basically you, Jason, and you raised some really good points. I have seen so many times where friends would just decide they're going to start a business, no clear distinction of what each other is supposed to be doing, and also each one thinking the other one's going to do the right thing. And that's not always the case. So, when is it good to go alone, and when is it good to go with a partnership, and when is it good to go incorporated? Any of the above. Let me point this right out right now. I cannot tell you what is best for you. You should contact an attorney, a business attorney, and hammer out what entity you want to be. Because each one of you are going to be different than me. I can tell you why I went a certain way, but that doesn't mean it's the right way for you. So let's kind of take a step back. And that step back is, why would you go it alone? Well, because A, you're going to either succeed or fail on your own merits. B, the time that you put in, if it turns out well, will be good for you. If it doesn't turn out well, the only one left holding the bag is you. I'm okay with that. I would rather sink or swim on my own merits than worry about everybody else and what part they're supposed to play. So, going it alone is not a scary move. It's only scary if you don't have faith in yourself and you're not willing to put in the time and you're not committed to what you're getting ready to take on or that you've already taken on. Because it's never too late to reevaluate your business and get it in correction mode to where it's profitable instead of just a fleeting thought that, hey, let me try this and this might work. It doesn't happen that way, guys. It doesn't. The most successful shops out there are ones that either were singular person one of where they busted their hump, whether it's social media, in the community, doing things, getting seen, getting a good reputation. All those things are important. But here's the drawback to being uno. Uno means that not only are you doing the repairs, but you're supposed to be doing the social media, supposed to be doing the, and we talked about this quite a while back, is it's either going to be one of two things. Either you've got the money to hire somebody else to do it for you on a contract basis, or you have to make time to learn how to do it, which takes quite a bit of time, and pursue it. And what happens with most people, especially in the repair business, is they've got the mechanical skills. They know how to fix things. That's a big plus. But they can't fix things and be on the computer doing social media at the same time. And I've seen husband and wife teams where the wife takes care of all the social media, takes care of the billing, customer service, while the husband works in the shop. And I've seen it flip opposite, where the wife is in the shop doing all the repairs and the husband is doing all that. That's a partnership within a partnership, okay? They're both going to end up sinking or swimming on their merits. They've, in a committed relationship, not only in marriage, but also in work. So when you go it alone, you're going to have to give up things. Either you're going to have to bust your hump doing repairs and then hire somebody that you trust to do social media for you, because I can tell you right now, if your shop is busy, you don't have time to go out and get more work to come to you. And the good work, the best work to have, is not going to come hunt you down. You have to find out who that ideal customer is and go after them where they're at. And that takes time. And that's where two people are better than one. So let's take that partnership. There's a lot of different style partnerships, but the only partnerships that work are well spelled out. And what do I mean by well spelled out? I mean, each partner knows exactly what they're bringing to the table. I've seen partnerships where the one guy has got the talent and the drive, and the other partner has the money. And a lot of times in that situation, the one with the money doesn't have a lot of say. They're backing and they're putting their money on that racehorse, you, to win the race. And normally what the terms are in that is that that person gets made whole back in 5 years, 10 years, whatever it's agreed upon in the contracts. And you need contracts. You need everything spelled out. And you need it notarized and legal. Now, I've seen some pretty crazy partnerships written up over the years that just made me go, huh. And one I can think of in particular, and it is a small engine repair shop. But they had 3 locations. And originally it was a one owner. And then the son took over where his dad was. And then 2 others bought in to become partners. So there were 3 of them. And they would rotate around the stores so that one wasn't going to one store all the time. It was be here Monday and Wednesday and then Tuesday and Thursday at the other store. And they all kind of moved around so that they all kind of, but neither one of them were in one place at the same time. Let's put it that way. But the way they had their partnership written up was if something happened to one of the partners, all of their equity went to the remaining. And in one case that I know of, where the one partner passed away, his wife and son worked at that dealership. And the 2 remaining partners let them both go. And they had nothing of equity. They had nothing for their husband or dad's sweat and equity in the business for 20, 25, 30 years. But that's the way they had it written up. Was if one passed, all equity went to the remaining partners. Was it right? I don't think so. But contract's a contract. And that was the way that it was drawn up. And must be they had some reasoning behind it because they were young at the time. if you're going to have a partnership, it has to be well spelled out. And do this in the beginning. Is just sit down, the two of you, and do brainstorming. And when I say brainstorming, all the things that you think might have to be tackled. And then who's going to do what, all right? I mentioned here the other day that if the one partner is doing the repairs and the other partner is out front, honestly, the job out front requires two people. It does. If it's being done right, it requires two people. And myself, I'm able to do everything out front and also help Claude. But I've been doing it for a long time, and I have a system in place where I can knock it out pretty quick. And I've already got ads built months ahead, and I know where I want to put them months ahead. And they're just sitting there ready to go. But I also think business all the time. Not so much since last November, but still, I'm not cranking out the 15, 16-hour days. I'm doing more like 7 or 8-hour days. But I'm bringing more business in all the time. And this year was good to us because last year was kind of thin. We didn't have a whole lot of winter work. And I was able to line up already 9 tractors that need work. And we're starting them now. And why now? Because a lot of people aren't thinking lawn and garden in their lawnmower. And they're going to wait till spring and try to beat the rush instead of doing it now. And the snowblowers, they haven't really been used. So if you had a service on a snowblower last year and you used it for 20 minutes, good chances are it doesn't need a service. It just needs to have what we tell all of our customers: shut the fuel off, let it run out on its own, and then let it sit all summer long. And then in the fall, open the petcock and let it fill up, give her a crank. If she starts, runs and dives and does everything it's supposed to be doing, that's all there is to it. Incorporated. Incorporated is now stock owned. And you could have two people in a similar partnership that own 50% of the stock in that incorporated business. And what does the incorporated business do? It protects your personal liability, and it keeps your business, and your personal life, all right? But you need to talk to an accountant, and you need to talk to a business attorney, because if you do what I suggest you do, and that is put yourself on payroll, pay in your Social Security, your Medicare, all your goody stuff, state and local taxes, that when it gets your time to retire, that you've paid into the system. And also disability. You're not only the employer, you're an employee as well. You own stock in the company, but you're on payroll. Everybody in the shop is on payroll for a certain amount, if that makes any sense. And what I found is you got to be careful with that, because you're going to pay taxes on the income that you get as a business, and then you're going to pay another income or pay taxes on the income that you receive on the personal side. So you really need to sit down and talk it out with an accountant and with an attorney on what is the best avenue for you, because only then can you come up with the great idea of what you should be doing. I can't tell you what to do. I don't know your setup. I don't know how you do things and what you're looking to get in the end. But these guys, the accountants, certified public accountants that do incorporated businesses and others, and a business attorney can steer you in the right direction. Is it going to cost you a few bucks? Yeah, but it's better to pay a few bucks up front than a lot on the back end, okay? Am I saying that friends can't get in together in business? Not at all. As long as everything is spelled out and everybody understands where there is. And the worst thing you can do is not communicate. If you're not happy with what your partner is doing or not doing, and you say nothing, to me, that's just as bad as saying something, I guess you could say. Because people aren't mind readers. And if you're out in the shop all day and you're busting your hump and you're looking at the other partner and sitting in a cushy chair in front of a computer, and you start getting grumpy because that person isn't doing hardly anything and you're doing all the work and they're profiting, and vocalize that early on before it becomes a typhoon. A lot of times the other partner doesn't realize of optics mean a lot, all right? And sometimes that means if the person out front like me with optics, if Claude had a problem, even though he's an employee, I could sit him down, I could show him what I do all day, and I'm not sitting there playing solitaire because I'm bored. But what I've done is I've streamlined it enough so that, I take care of all the eBay stuff first thing in the morning, shipping, packing, get that done. And then I go on to billing, and then I go on to ads. Then I go on to, and like yesterday, I was out filling, because we drained, Massey Ferguson 50 came in for a complete service. He wanted everything drained, all the fluids and all new put in. So Claude had drained it on Tuesday morning, and I had cardiac rehab in the afternoon. So yesterday, I went ahead and I filled the radiator back up with 50/50, and it's cut so that it's below 50 below, which is good. I refilled the hydraulic system with 8 gallons of hydraulic fluid. He picked up the oil filter yesterday afternoon while I was finishing hauling hay from one location back to the farm. So he'll put the oil filter on. I'll fill it with oil. I'm not sitting out front all the time. I'm also in back helping him with stuff. And then when the handhelds come through, like with the chainsaws and leaf blowers and trimmers, I tackle that. That's my forte, I guess you could say. But even that, it's like my son. He came over to help cut firewood this past weekend. And my grandson was up for the youth hunt. And by the way, he got a nice little buck, a nice spike horn. But I had planned on cutting firewood all weekend. And Claude had approached me and said, "You've got 2 young bucks here. Why not take advantage of them and put them to work down to the shop where we've got 4 or 5 loads of blocked up firewood already on the ground. We just need to get it split and into the woodshed." So I told him, I said, "You're in charge. You're the boss. Go ahead." And they did phenomenal. I mean, it was on a Sunday, and Claude even worked all day doing firewood. Even my son, he has 2 brand new Husqvarna chainsaws, and he isn't happy with either one of them. He says they're junk. I've got 3 Husqvarnas, and I've got 3 Steels. And he grabbed one of my Husqvarnas, and he was amazed at how nice it cut and how smooth it was. And I actually saw him 2 weeks ago throw them saws because he got mad at him because they wouldn't cut. And he had 2 things going against him. One is he didn't know how to adjust the jets. And 2, he didn't know how to sharpen the chains. And he was buying chains that said that would fit that saw, but he wasn't buying the correct one based on what the bar is. So I told him this past weekend, I said, "Look, all you need to do is ask Dad. Leave your saws with me, and I will get them running tip-top condition, and I will get you some chains, and I will sharpen the chains that are on it right now." And it just so happened he lucked out because I had a customer last year order 2 reels, the 25 footers, of the chain that he needs on his one saw. And so they've been sitting on the shelf gathering dust. I do own the equipment to make up chain. So like Claude and I were talking, let's go ahead and make him out 3 good chains for his saw. And I'm going to buy the other 3 already pre-cut, pre-made, and send him on his way. But even with that, I fine-tune the saws. I still need the Claude to come out and turn the 2 jets to where I wanted them to be while I was revving and holding onto the saw. He was adjusting. And the idle screw was out of whack. The low jet was out of whack. The high jet was out of whack. And if you're in the shop, you're going to encounter this. They put these little stop pieces on the carburetors so that you can only turn it so far. A lot of them are coming through non-adjustable. But first thing we do is we take a pair of pliers and we pop them caps off so that we can adjust it based on how it sounds, how it's coming up. Because you can hear it when it gets to the peak and then it starts going the other way. Adjust it like that. If you want the tachometer, I've got one of those too. Figure out what the RPMs should be at and then adjust it that way. If you have hearing issues or you're tone deaf. Most things are pretty easy fixes, honestly. And do I still believe in an ultrasonic cleaner? Absolutely. We use it all the time. I've done a video on taking like glass jars and putting like gasoline in one, solvent in another, so that you're not contaminating the water that's in the ultrasonic cleaner. It's all being contained within that glass, because if you set that glass full of gasoline into the ultrasonic cleaner, it will come right up through, the bubbles will come up through into the jar and whatever you have in there to clean. In the comments, let me know what you think about business setups and where you've had problems in the past. And what advice would you give to somebody that's either just starting out or need to reorganize? So on that note, you guys have a great Thursday, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning for the last day of the week, weekday. You guys enjoy your Thursday.